All right. Let's call this meeting to order for TCAB, Town Center Advisory Board on December 19th. It is, what, 7:03? Can you please call roll call?
Committee member Stephenson.
Present.
Committee member Castillo White.
Here.
Committee member Andrews.
Here.
Committee member Knight.
He's excused.
Will not be here this evening.
Committee member Rizzo.
Here.
Committee member Kester.
I believe he's excused.
Committee member Hill. Committee member Prickett.
Here.
Chair Allen.
Here. Thank you. Can we stand up to say the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, so number 2 is election of chair. So since, how
So
does
there's-
that work since I'm also leaving?
So there's two options, and we can have the committee can have the discussion tonight. You can either elect a chair this evening, but we know that our alternate is now gonna be filling in a position. And Carol, you're gonna be leaving. So we can have an election and have two people not vote, or we can wait till January, at the first meeting in January, and have an election and have more opportunity for more input from different committee members. I'm just gonna leave that to the committee.
Is there any opinions on that?
Rock and roll, I don't care.
Doesn't make any difference.
Right, that's the main thing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hold up anything or delay anything if we,
No.
Or we could just do it and get it done with.
that's true.
Yeah,
I'm fine either way too.
either way.
Okay, so is there any suggestions or motions?
I make a motion.
Okay,
I'd like to, are we doing chair?
for chair.
I'd like to nominate Zach Andrews.
All those in favor? I
Aye.
guess you have to ask, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all happening so fast.
Happening faster than I can write.
You okay with it?
Yeah, I'm okay, I accept, thank you, I appreciate the
And Zach,
nomination.
you're on more committees, so be prepared.
Oh, I know.
1 second, really quick. Am I doing it down or am I calling it out for everyone? Or is this an all in favor?
Call out.
Call out,
Yeah.
okay. Committee member Stephenson,
Yes.
committee member Castillo White,
Yes.
committee member Andrews,
Abstain.
committee member Rizzo,
Yes.
committee member Prickett,
Yes.
vice chair Allen.
Yes. Okay, congratulations, Zach.
Thank you, I appreciate that very much. Vote of confidence for you guys, for sure.
And then you vote for chair, but do you also vote for vice chair, or do you wait? For the vice chair.
Well, you still are, yeah, that's true. If you're still in that role,
Yeah, but I'm in the role right now as the chair
right,
tonight, so I could just hand all this over to you. Now that I know.
fair.
But we would need to decide if we're gonna vote for vice chair today, or if you wanna vote for that in January.
I'm fine to continue.
January?
January or today?
He's saying continue now, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
Yeah.
if we have folks that are present and willing.
Okay, so is there, a motion for a vice chair?
This is Shirley Prickett.
Yes.
I nominate Tammy Stephenson as vice chair.
Okay, is there a second?
This is Zach, I'll second.
Okay, can you take the vote, please?
yes, 1 second. Zach seconded that, right?
Is that
Do you,
okay?
do you
No,
accept?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, Zach did.
Great.
Do Bert in there.
Committee member Stephenson,
Yeah.
committee member Castillo White,
Yes.
Chair Andrews,
Yes.
committee member Rizzo,
Yes.
committee member Prickett,
Yes.
current vice chair Allen,
Yes. So now that there's a new chair, you're it.
Alrighty, here we go, so that passes, so Tanny, congratulations. Vice Chair.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you too.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome, well, I guess that brings us to our next agenda item, 3, adoption of the October 17th, 2024 meeting minutes. There's a copy online, I don't know if anybody has any initial thoughts on the board. Looking it over.
Yeah, this is Carol. So I got an email from Paul. So on page 1, where it says Marley will cite, S-I-T-E. It should be C-I-T-E. And then on page 2, pickleball, help from the courts. Pickleball is separated. Pickleball, I guess, should be together as one word instead of 2. And that's all that I have.
Yeah, on, this is, Shirley Prickett. I was here, but not on the minutes.
so the minutes need to be updated to
Right,
reflect
with-
that
That I was here.
committee member Prickett was present at the meeting.
Any comments from anybody else?
No, but since you were here,
Right,
can you move to accept?
yeah.
Or you?
I move that we accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second it, Carol.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, and we're good. Awesome. And moving on to public comment on non-agenda items. If there's anybody in chambers who would like to speak on any non-agenda items, okay? Anybody online? Looks like it's just us
And Paul.
and Paul.
He's in the right corner.
Alright, if there's nothing from Paul, I guess we will move along to the presentation on the Sandy River Shuttle and Downtown Parking Study. So, hand that back over to you guys, appreciate it.
Let me share my screen really quick. All right, so I'll kick us off. Marley and I have been doing kind of a little road show about this project to all the committees over the past month and a half. TCAB, you're our last committee that we're presenting to this evening. We have been working on a transit feasibility study for along the Sandy River and the downtown parking study since this past spring. And with that, I'm gonna actually turn it over to Marley.
Hello, everyone. So I will start off by saying, thank you for having this presentation here tonight. Our project management team for this project is myself and Erica. And then we have, three main consultants. There's more than that, over at Kittleson, but the three main ones we've been coordinating with are Corey, Matt, and Amy. And then we have a technical advisory committee that is made up of a number of diverse people from state parks, Multnomah County, residents, the Troutdale Parks Department, business owners, property owners, so on and so forth, that have been advising us throughout this process. We decided to join these two projects together because they dovetailed really nicely. And we did receive a grant from Travel Oregon to do the transit feasibility study while the city funded the parking study. And they both played well with one another. So we joined them together to help share some of those resources. For our timeline, we kicked this off back in spring of 2024, and we started with our background review, looking at the parking inventory, case studies, conducting interviews with a number of different stakeholders and other like shuttle providers, and having our first technical advisory committee. We then moved into the existing conditions and opportunities analysis, and that involved the parking survey, a public survey in regards to the shuttle study, some site visits, and our second technical advisory committee. We're currently in between that and the alternatives development and evaluation. So right now we're working on those draft parking policies and strategies, which the consultant team is putting a bow on those drafts right now. And then the draft shuttle alternatives, and we will have our third technical advisory committee in the new year, in the beginning of the new year, and we will wrap it all up in spring of 2025 in April with that final shuttle feasibility report and the parking management plan. So the TAC has helped provide meaningful feedback on the ground truth data findings with the development of the plans, and they have participated in the meetings by reviewing materials and serving as a sounding board in the development of the parking and shuttle alternatives. They also helped us spread the word about outreach and events and served as advocates for the result. They will serve as advocates for the resulting final plans. The transit study is the first one that we'll cover tonight. So with the transit feasibility study, so far, one of the first things that we did was a case study review. So we looked at 3 different case studies that are in the Pacific Northwest. Many of you are probably familiar with the Ride the River, which is the float, concessionaire operated float that coordinates with the I don't remember the name of their transit operator out there, but the transit operator in Bend, over there in Bend, Oregon. And then there's the Little Spokane Shuttle with the city of Spokane, and Float the Boise in Boise, Idaho. The initial case study findings, we're waiting for the screen to catch up. There we go. Except of course you just moved it back, so.
There we go. That's weird.
The initial case study findings resulted in us learning the following information. It's good to provide a limited number of stops focused on the most popular locations in order to garner that initial interest and provide competitive travel times. Ensuring that the stops have appropriate supporting amenities is also important, as well as exploring opportunities to connect with microtransit in order to allow people to actually have car-free access to outdoor recreation. It's also important to keep a consistent schedule to establish familiarity and trust, and consider reservation systems and real-time ETAs. The shuttle is an opportunity to educate about river safety and sustainable visitor management, and it's good to provide robust communication and marketing with regular community engagement opportunities. I mentioned earlier that we conducted a number of interviews. Those interviews were with all of these different agencies that are on the screen. And they were very enlightening, and each one had some similarity, like similar questions, but then also some tailored questions based on the person we were interviewing. We did a public engagement survey that was during the course of this summer. It was open from July 30th through October 31st, and we gathered over 135 responses online or in person. The topics included things such as what stops should a shuttle serve, what amenities should the shuttle have, and what barriers are there to car-free access to Troutdale. Top 3 barriers to car-free travel were limited frequency of transit, limited location of transit stops, and a long amount of time needed to take transit. I will also mention that when we conducted this survey, there was still transit service to Glen Auto Park, and there is no longer transit service to Glen Auto Park.
Miss Diane, can you tell me, I'm just confused about that one. The big reason is, I really consider Glen Auto Park and the Sandy River part of an awesome resource for all of East County. And that was the way for people who didn't have cars to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Sugar Pine, which is one of the hugest attractions in the Troutdale area, which then, and then not to mention that bridge is the oldest state-owned bridge of its kind. What at the end of the day went into that reasoning for the bus system to not do it, or even consider summer routing?
Yeah, TriMet was involved in these conversations, and we got to have one-on-one conversations with them about this, as well as in other planning, long-range planning settings. And they have, what's the name of their program that they're implementing?
The FX,
No, not that one. What's the title of the program?
Better Bus.
No, not that one. There's another name for Better Together or Forward Together.
Or Forward Together.
So, yeah, something like that.
Yep.
But the outcomes of that were around providing better access to jobs and low-income communities and underserved communities, and really strong emphasis on job centers and ridership numbers. And so they basically said the ridership numbers were not great enough to constitute continuing the service, despite our disagreements on that. And we pushed very strongly for the fact that this is one of only 2 sites in the entire state that has lifeguards at a natural river recreating site. So it would be great for them to provide transit at a place where people can feel safe being at the beach because of those lifeguards. And they also cited that the parking lot is not, the way the parking lot is oriented and the popularity of Sugar Pine makes it difficult for the buses to navigate, and that was too challenging for them to overcome. So yeah, that's sort of like a summary of the reasons we received.
Yeah, but I do want to emphasize, we continue to advocate for bus service in our downtown core and to Glen Auto Park, and we will continue to advocate for that for Troutdale as we go into the future.
Okay, thanks. It just seems like it hits everything that they want, including metro education on semi-glacier, no industrial runoff. I mean, for people to appreciate. In fact, Metro buys tons of land in Corbett, in anywhere near waters and stuff like that, and it even gets taken off the tax rolls, which is an issue for Corbett and the school district and such. But there's a great interest with Metro in preserving or acquiring property near the Sandy River. So
yeah, and Metro expressed concern with this as
Okay,
well
good.
when
Yes.
they were, because Metro was involved in this as well, and they also had a very similar concern. And in meetings, we did bring up to TriMet that it seems that there's conflicting visions with Portland Metro stating access to nature and improved access to nature is a priority, and then TriMet is removing car-free access to nature, and that these things don't seem to complement and align with one another. And the response that we received was that the ridership was not high enough and that it didn't serve a job center. And another thing we countered with is that it's not like TriMet is marketing that this service goes to Glen Auto Park, and I don't know that there's a lot of people within the Portland Metro that know that they have access to this park through the transit service. And that's not something that we received a clear response on, is whether they would have improved marketing, but eliminated it instead.
This is Tanny. You said forward together?
Forward together, yeah,
Forward together, and this is tied in with TriMet, that really doesn't make very much sense.
We agree.
That anything together would tie into TriMet really at all. I'll just say, when it did come to servicing a job center out here, which was Amazon,
It took us a while.
it took almost 2 years, and Amazon pays TriMet like $3 million a year here. And it took like 2 years to get a bus stop out there. Has there been any thought about setting up our own transit system because of the number of job centers that we have? Such as Sandy, Wilsonville, places like that have done it very successfully. Has there been any thought of that?
There's been some conversation around whether that would be possible. I think that the challenge is that we're within the TriMet service boundary, and so the taxes, the employment taxes that go towards TriMet are still charged in this area, and what it would take to change their service boundary so that we didn't have conflicting.
If TriMet isn't servicing that area, then the city would set the tax rate for the transit system.
Well, so there's currently still areas that are within the within the TriMet service boundary that aren't served by transit and have to pay taxes, as you are aware.
Yes, I am, actually. But if the city moves out, then they are not charged. The businesses within Troutdale would not be charged.
I think one of the larger challenges is the number of people that come to jobs in Troutdale or go to jobs in Portland, and the amount of transition that happens between Portland and Troutdale in that respect and regard, and how a service, we wouldn't want to duplicate service that TriMet is providing, but we also would need to find connection points, and that could end up adding time to people's commute if they had to transfer between buses and whatnot. I think that it's not been like explored to great depths, but it's certainly come up in conversation.
Yeah, I just know that I was involved with it in Wilsonville years ago. And we literally had a system where we had enough money, we could pick up people at their homes, take them wherever they wanted to go, run to Tualatin. We had shuttle buses that went all over the place. And our rate was literally 1/2 of what the TriMet rate was. And so I'm just saying as a thought. And the rates are a lot higher now. I just would think that there could be enough that you could do something better.
I think it would take some more studying.
Yeah.
With that
And I
specific
agree,
intention.
you don't want duplication of service, but with TriMet, you really don't want duplication of service. You want to have something better to offer people than that if you want them to ride it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Carol, a question. So then, with Home Forward being here, what's the transportation look like if they don't have cars to go to Safeway or Winco, or is there transit that's
On
gonna be out here
257.
that's frequent, or is it, because I know Troutdale Road's not frequent, unless they changed it.
Well, so the Halsey line, what is it, 77 that's on Halsey?
77, yeah.
Line 77 is being upgraded to frequent service, which is every 15 minutes. And that stops on Halsey and Historic Columbia River Highway. And then
I want to say, though, that line 77 is being studied for frequent service.
okay, that's a good clarification.
Just a
So
clarification.
right now it runs about once an hour, I think.
Yeah, it's a priority for that line to get up to frequent service within the next 2 years.
It runs once an hour now.
Yeah, and then on Sunday, on holidays and Sundays, I think I can't remember, but I think it's once an hour. But we also have 2 buses that go, one goes down Halsey and then one goes straight up.
So line 977, and then the other one was.
50 years ago, it ran more frequently than that. That's really kind of sad when there was like, what, 4,000 people out here?
I know people that, live off of the Troutdale Road in those residential areas. They have to walk all the way up to, 257th and Stark to get on the bus and be, because that bus is more frequent.
Yes,
Mhm.
for the
Troutdale
257
Road,
bus.
it's like once an hour.
Mhm.
And so some of my neighbors who have to work, they have to leave early enough to walk all the way up to 257th and Stark to get a bus.
Mhm.
So it
And
looks like,
that was the problem we had on Cherry Park, was there was no bus. This is the first, I've lived here 44 years. This is the first time we've had a bus that comes up Gleason. And it took forever to get one. And it's still, it doesn't, it runs, but I don't know how often it runs. But people had to walk either to Stark Street or Halsey to catch a bus. And so it doesn't come quickly.
No, but the concern also is for those who are
Right.
handicapped and have any kind of disability that can't
Go
go
up
up
the
the
hill.
hill or can't walk that far, have no access to
Right.
transportation. And so, and if they don't have a car, you know, they're stuck,
Does
right?
the new one that comes down Gleason does go down Troutdale Road and then over to the college. And then there's a major shift there because there's a bunch of buses that go in there that go to the Gresham Transit Center.
Yes.
But they still, you know, still not good enough.
Good enough.
it does look like line 81 is on 30-minute headways on Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, it's 30 minutes during the afternoons, but it looks like it's like 45-ish. 40, 50 during the mornings. So it's got a different schedule on the weekends than it does on the weekdays, and it's prioritizing the weekday jobs in that schedule. Yes.
I think another thing they need to look at too is shelters, bus shelters, that don't face east. There's none on 257, there isn't a bus shelter other than down by the outlet mall, up 257. They're all just a seat with a sign. And then the east wind blows, nobody's gonna be, I wouldn't wanna be standing there. I've seen people standing waiting for the bus, but it's not comfortable. And if you have a handicapped person,
They crouch behind the overpass bridges like foxholes, like
yeah,
trying to hide from it.
And TriMet actually moved the shelter that was on 257th Way, so the entrance to the outlet mall, and 257th Avenue. It used to block the east wind,
No, it
and
doesn't.
they turned it around because there was a request for ADA improvements from a user of the bus, and we had warned TriMet that that would make it very uncomfortable to use the bus shelter, and asked if there was a way that they could make an ADA improvement while retaining the current positioning of the shelter so that it would block the wind. And they had mentioned that it was too costly to do that and that they would just turn it around.
but Sandy has an enclosed one that a wheelchair actually can go into.
Is TriMet run by anybody in Oregon, or is it a third world country, or who's running TriMet?
I think we're in the third world part of the county, kind of.
Because they certainly don't share the vision that anybody has around here at all.
They do have a board.
They what?
They do have a board. And you can contact members of the board online.
Okay.
All right, so,
Moving on,
moving on. So now we're gonna focus on the parking study that took place this summer. we looked at we looked at the parking areas in downtown Troutdale. We looked at both the on-street parking and the off-street parking. So the off-street parking lots, we looked at just across the street, or here. Then we looked at the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and the Troutdale Municipal Court, the parking lot out here. We looked at the North Downtown parking lot, Mayor Square, the Discovery Block, the old City Hall parking up on the hill, and the Troutdale House in Depot Park, and Glen Auto Community Park was actually included. So the on-street parking inventory. So looking at all the on-street parking, we had 5 specialty use parking stalls. And when we talk about specialty use parking stalls, those are the ADA stalls. Those are the stalls that are for specified users. Maybe it's a loading zone or strictly for motorcycles. And then we had 271 general use parking stalls for general parking. So in total, we have 276 on-street parking stalls. On-street parking is available on both sides of most streets in downtown. And then approximately a third of all on-street parking stalls have time limits associated with them. And like I said, the on-street parking also includes the ADA stalls. And this says currently we don't have any loading zones in Troutdale, and we talked about how this can create conflicts. The TAC had a good conversation about that actually. So off-street parking, there were 51 specialty use parking stalls, 344 general use parking, and for a total of 395 off-street parking stalls. Most of the off-street parking stalls in downtown have no time limits or restrictions. But if you really want to take a deep dive into this report, you can find it online. And the report talks about the turnover rates for those parking stalls. And, when users are using like the peak time for off-street parking, when that occurs, lunch, dinner, and how long people are staying there, like I said. And we don't allow overnight parking. However, the city does offer a permit program for those who need to use parking need to park in a lot downtown if they live downtown. So the parking data collection was in July 18th and July 20th, and it was a long day for folks counting parking from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we looked at the occupancy, the duration of stay, and turnover, like I said, and that information is a deep dive, and you can find that information online. Looking at the parking downtown, the study takes a look at kind of the challenges to parking lots and to parking. So we have topography. We kind of know that downtown is hilly going uphill, and so people are gonna park on either in the parking lots along the highway or primarily up to 2nd Street. We know that the signage downtown for parking can also be challenging. It's a little inconsistent. So our next step is taking all this information that we gathered and coming up with parking management strategies, a full menu of parking strategies that city council can consider in the future. That will range from everything from better signage, maybe parking meters, parking enforcement, a whole gamut of tools and strategies that the city could use over time to better regulate parking in our downtown area, to make it more efficient for folks and easier for folks to use. And I just want to say, all the meeting material is found online. And there's the page you could go to. Marley, do you have anything else?
No, other than we will have those parking, the menu of parking management options, very soon. So we'll probably be having some updates at our future meetings, to have more conversations about those. And we can keep you guys updated on whether it's here, or if we're talking about it at council or planning commission or where it might be, because we know you all are very interested in staying involved in that, so.
This is Zach. Thank you very much again. I know I heard, several of us heard, in various committees or commissions and whatnot, a lot of that information. I guess how it pertains to TCAB in particular, and I imagine this is probably part of the next step when it comes to future plans, but have you guys had any discussion so far, again, especially in relation to like the RFQ confluence site in regards to like park and ride, parking structures, like various, just curious, like kind of maybe what you mentioned so far?
Well, in the RFQ.
I think we're doing a queue.
I think we're doing a queue. The RFQ for the Confluence site, we talk about a vision in there for, a possibility of a parking structure that would, have a connection to downtown, that would serve that site and the downtown businesses. And ultimately, I think that is a long-term, I don't want to say long-term, but a longer-term strategy for parking.
Yeah, and we worked on an initial concept for that. Well, we've talked about different concepts of it for a while now. And in 2022, we worked with ODOT on mocking up the concept a little bit more and presenting it at the Gorge Forum and at the Historic Clean River Highway Advisory Committee meeting to get more buy-in from the other stakeholders in the area and how it could be an actual park and ride for the Gorge. And everyone we've talked to has been very interested in seeing it happen and being a part of it. So we're trying to get creative and talking with as many different agencies we can to see what funding could be out there to continue to study the feasibility of it. It was also something that was really positively received when we talked to developers about the confluence. They all had an interest in seeing that happen as well. So it's in the plans to continue to study it.
Diane, is there, while we're working through parking and our different challenges of having other businesses that are not open right now to open, like Way Days, and then also the Chinese restaurant that's going to be a boutique hotel and restaurant. So we have different properties that aren't built yet with its full potential. Is there any way we can, maybe that area that we were considering are ideal to have a high-rise, multi-leveled structure, at least have ground parking? Reserve that portion of property and then tie it in now that we're gonna have a walkway underneath the train, and then have it connect. So just because I'm not sure in the study, and I'll look at it, is to where if we, like I mentioned this at a different meeting, if we talk to the Troutdale soda shop and some of the others and asking, how are you guys doing now? How are people saying they're having difficulty coming in? Because I try to stop there as much as I can. I want them to succeed. And I even have this idea, which I haven't pitched them yet, like, hey, partner with Lolo Pizza and do family pizza in there as well. Because they do that at the Hollywood Theater. A couple doors down is pizza, and it's a great partnership. They sell more pizza, and it's a win-win for everybody. But anyway, it's just, we had talked about this earlier with the town center about wanting people to be able to do multiple things, so they're just not one shot, so that they could diversify that net, so for income to prosper. But anyway, so I didn't know if that was a possibility, because without talking to all the businesses, and to see how many elderly people are using the terrain, that steeper grade, and making a choice. I've already done it to the soda shop. I've gone like, there's no parking, but gone. I won't get the tea. I won't get the whatever, even though I want to, but I'm still trying to, and I'm about a gift certificate and doing other things. But I'm wanting people to be able to succeed and to stay open. So is there a possibility at all that y'all have thought of preserving that land and maybe making it a flat parking for now until we can see to fruition or that plan with the railroad or whoever else that we need to get buy-in from?
So basically just having it be a surface lot until such time as we
Until-
can get funding for a structured lot. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be, if we couldn't get the timeline for funding to work out with that, that would be something that we would want to ensure that we still have the possibility of in the future. And the bridge over the railroad is preserved in the Troutdale Riverfront Renewal Plan and in multiple other planning documents as a desired element. And the work that we had done in the past to figure out that we could have it tie in with the parking garage, I think is a good argument for keeping the idea of the parking garage in the future. And so I think that when we have conversations with future developers or whoever is selected for development, we would want to do the best that we could to preserve that site for anticipating that it could be structured parking. But I also think in the meantime, there are other things that will come up in the parking management strategies that we could implement that could help with some of that. Wayfinding has come up so many times about, do people actually know when they come to town where the parking is? Like, we talk all the time about Mayor's Square parking lot, but there's not a single sign that says Mayor's Square parking lot. So no one knows. So if someone isn't from here, they don't know that that's public parking, that it's called Mayor's Square parking lot, any of these other sort of things. And so that, and then the old City Hall parking, like, we have a lot of, we just call it that, and we assume people know, but if we put our minds into someone who's never been in Troutdale before, would they actually know where to park and where to go to be able to frequent these businesses? So I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that we can do while we prepare for the really big hanging fruit, like a parking structure.
Well, this is Shirley, playing off with Diane, your idea is a great idea. What, we could also offer shuttle service for those who couldn't walk. Like, we're talking about shuttle, they could have a shuttle service like a park and ride, where, like, when I go to a school event, if there's not enough parking, sometimes Reynolds will have you park at Reynolds Middle School to go to Woodland, and you ride a bus there and ride it back. And so you're not crammed into this little parking lot. So that might be another alternative to having a flat parking lot till we can get a multi-story one, to have a shuttle bus go, or a shuttle of some kind. Especially for the handicapped that can't walk that far or can't.
Yeah, because it could be even a quad. It could be a special little quad that went from the flat land, the area from the URA to underneath. That would be just like a fun, I don't know how wide, I don't know what the specs are, but anyway. Just, again, seeing the future, we just don't want anybody to get squeezed out of a business.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Alright, well, where does that leave us? Looks like we are moving along to the Urban Renewal Area refresher. So I guess that's a good segue since we're talking about the area anyway. RFQ update that went out, I looked great. I appreciated seeing the photos, get a little update, and it's I think something we can be proud of. So good work on that. Hats off for sure.
Alright, sorry, I'm trying to get this presentation up. Maybe. There we go. Hopefully all the different pop-ups that are on my screen will go away so I can actually read it. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, as you were just alluding to, we met with the Urban Renewal Agency and gave them a little update on the work that you all have been doing, and the changes that were made to the RFQ document, and there was some conversation around the confluence and what it could be in the future, and some questions over how certain things work and operate. And so I thought it might be good for you all if we did just like a quick refresher in here over the confluence and the history of the site and what an urban renewal area is, so that if you all receive questions from people, public, whoever, you feel confident in answering them, and that everyone understands, because we have new people on this board. This is something we did back in 2022 when we did the original RFQ, but we never did an update of that. So I figured it would be good to have a refresher for all of us. So a quick timeline of the site, and you'll see this wonderful historic photo of the site that shows I don't even think that's the current water tower. I think that's the old water tower from when there was a slaughterhouse on the site. But from the 1880s to 2001, about, was the industrial usage of the site. The site has seen many different uses. It was a slaughterhouse, it was a meat packing facility, it was celery farms, it was the wool pullery, most infamously. It was a cabinet company. It was abandoned buildings that teenagers played in, and it was all sorts of crazy things. So it has, and we can't forget the sewage treatment plant. It was also a sewage treatment plant. So it's seen a lot of different uses over the years and has never really been a natural area like it currently looks right now. It has always been the industrial site of this town. It was the lifeblood. It was what employed everyone who worked and lived in this community for a very long time. Starting in 2005, the town worked together to create and adopt the Troutdale Riverfront Renewal Plan, which is the Urban Renewal Agency's guiding document on the goals and objectives of this site, and what our promise is to the town of Troutdale. Between 2006 and 2021, we did the environmental site assessments and brownfield cleanup and remediation. This was a lot of work, a lot of assessments, a lot of studying, a lot of money that the city invested into getting this site shovel ready, and it took a very long time. So it is all cleaned up now at this point, and it looks very beautiful, and the last standing thing that we have is the water tower, but it took a lot of work to get it that clean, and it was not always that clean. In 2022, we did the first request for qualifications, and as you all know, that developer did not move forward. So we carried on with our Sandy Riverfront Trail construction and planning efforts, and so the construction has begun this year. If you go by there now, you can see all the orange construction fencing and whatnot. I saw a great egret and a great blue heron in the Beaver Creek with the construction fencing in the background just yesterday. So the nature is still all there despite the construction. And we're hoping to do the RFQ announcement in the beginning of 2025 for round 2. So I have a video to play for you all. Hopefully this works. This is from the city of Hood River. They had a consultant create an urban renewal 101 for them, and I thought it was a really good explainer video. So fingers crossed that playing this right now works. Hold on, it's not working. Let's try this again.
Thank you for watching this urban renewal.
I have to figure out how to play the video without playing the sound in here. I have an idea.
Technology. But then will we get,
Can you hear it?
No.
No. Yeah, I don't think it picks up the sound.
Counties, urban renewal area.
If we don't turn off the lights, the people at home won't hear it. We will only hear it. We didn't anticipate this to happen. We figured,
How do people do this?
you know what? We will send you this link tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a 5-minute video. It's really informative. So we will do that.
How do we make sure that anyone in the public can listen to it?
We will,
I guess if we upload the presentation to the
Yes.
web page with the agenda and the agenda packet, this is an embedded video in the presentation, so I
you should be able to click on it and watch it.
think it will work.
I think it will.
But there's also gotta be a way to do this that we just aren't thinking of.
What if, this is Carol, what if we put just the, address in there and then make it so people click onto that and go right to the video?
It's on YouTube under Urban Renewal.
Yeah, it is on YouTube.
Yeah.
You could just update the meeting
Yeah,
page with that link on there too.
we can update the agenda with that.
So should we still mute all the mics in here and play it and then put it in the agenda link so someone at home can listen to it?
Yes, but I want to make sure that Paul understands that we're gonna cut off his
Turn on the closed captioning on it.
the connection.
Yeah, and I
Paul,
can turn the closed captioning.
I just want to let you know that we're going to turn off all of our speakers in here. So you won't be able to hear this video, but we'll link it tomorrow to the agenda so folks can click on it and view it if they want to.
And I've also turned the closed captioning on.
And we have closed captioning. All right. So if everyone can, I think.
Yeah. Victoria, you have to turn off the microphone.
Turn off our mics.
Button on the front.
All right.
So everyone can put their microphones back on. That was a quick little Urban Renewal 101, and I know it's interesting to be watching that from the perspective of a community that's had an urban renewal area for almost 20 years. So we're not at the point of talking about should we create one, we're at the point of we have one, but we have to remind people what it is and what it does. I thought that was a really helpful video and just sort of understanding the financing mechanisms and the lifespan of urban renewal areas and the way that the increment on the property taxes is what are helping you fund the projects that you're hoping to do and the way that you can incur debt in order to get those done. So this is a boundary of our urban renewal area. As you can see, it includes the Depot Park property, which is where the visitor center is, and it includes the stairwell tax lot between the Troutdale Soda Bar Cafe and what was also Arts. So that stairwell where potentially you could have a bridge that crosses over the railroad tracks. So this was likely intentionally designed so that that could potentially be one of the things that are funded through the urban renewal area. It also includes the outlet mall. So the tax increment, we're earning increment on the property taxes from the outlet mall, helping to support this as well. This is a summary of the goals and objectives of the Troutdale Riverfront Renewal Plan, and I managed to fit them all onto one page. But I will go over them. It looks like maybe the bottom one is cut off, and I don't know how that's possible, but it's okay. That's okay. So the first one is to redevelop the area for mixed uses. That is a promotion of a blend of retail, office, residential, and public spaces. And the objective is to improve public infrastructure, share redevelopment costs with the private sector, and support redevelopment through assistance programs. The second one is to expand local goods and services by increasing the availability of goods and services within Troutdale to reduce the need for residents to travel outside of the community for those goods and services. The third is to raise awareness among developers, highlighting the area's development potential to attract private investment for high-quality projects. Fourth is to create local employment opportunities, reducing the need for residents to commute by fostering job creation within the community. And one of the identified objectives is to enhance the environment for office space development and promote awareness for local job opportunities. The next one is to improve transportation connectivity, complete transportation linkages for cars, pedestrians, and bicycles. Building a connected street system, developing pedestrian and bicycle trails, and encouraging efficient transportation use through mixed-use developments. Followed by enhance access to the Sandy River front, improving the access to Sandy River to benefit both development and the broader community by creating public parks and trails and encouraging environmentally sensitive development that enhances river views. Providing public spaces for community uses for events and recreational activities. We can do this through integrating a public plaza, creating areas for cultural activities, and improving public entryways. And then finally, preserve and enhance natural, cultural, and historic resources by respecting Troutdale's history and cultural significance and reflecting that in the new development, preserving the natural areas, and so forth. And that was the end of my presentation. So that is my overview on where we are.
Thanks, Marla. And this is Zach, and again, I just wanted to thank you guys for your work in the RA meeting too. I know we kind of tricky navigating a lot of that, those conversation points and explaining that. I was kind of surprised to see. I mean, somebody, I guess, seemed to, I think, get elected to city council on the platform of, wanting to turn it into a big park or something, and I thought that was an interesting, got some interesting support, I guess, for that idea. So I guess if anything, that shows me, obviously, with the reality of the situation, how important it is still to people of the community to make sure that we do balance that really well with like those recreation, like community spaces that are emphasizing like the balance between the tourism and the locals. But yeah, anybody have any thoughts or questions for them on this?
Diane, I don't know if this is possible, but I was just a little disappointed at that urban renewal meeting that they didn't open it for public comment. There was, I think, a handful of us that were town center people that were there. And I think that's an opportunity to enlighten, to have discussion, and to share knowledge. And I think it's beneficial for, I would consider ourselves partners, not silent partners. So I don't know how to present that or whatever, but could it, I don't know if it's policy or not, but I would think it would be nice to recommend to the agency that they always open to public comment, so we could have that diverse discussion and share knowledge.
Yeah, we did receive a comment from a member of the public asking if that was standard, that it was not open, that there was no opportunity for public comment. So I did reach out to the city attorney to verify whether there were any rules broken or, anything that we had done wrong. And he had responded and said that since it wasn't a resolution or an ordinance, it didn't need to be open for public comment. However, so like nothing was violated, but they usually try to carry the same policy that they have for city council meetings. And at city council meetings, they usually open everything up for public comment. And so, while it wasn't a violation of sorts, it wasn't standard practice for what we normally do in Troutdale. So I think that bringing that comment up with city council would be pertinent, so that they are aware of that in the future.
Yeah, because there could be findings that are enlightening to again, contribute to a conversation. I just think that it would be nice to do, because a lot of us came and maybe we're not necessarily can speak as a member of, but just officially, but just contribute to the conversation would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
This is Carol. Does the members of the city council understand the history, where we've been, what got us to where we are, with the URA, with the council, the whole, because I'm finding, when I attended that meeting, I found it very frustrating, because I wanted to say, well, where have you been for 2 years? And because we've been talking about all this stuff, and counselors are always welcome. Sandy came all the time to hear what the plan was, and then to all of a sudden they want to change things, and then in the stage we are, I just was really dumbfounded, and I was concerned that they didn't quite understand what all went into it, and all the deciding factors and the work and the hours that you guys have done, and meetings after meetings, and the first RFQ. I found it as very, very frustrating. I'm hoping that when the new council comes on in January, that there's some training for those that don't have that history. For me, history is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And it applies to every decision that's made today for our future. If we didn't even start this 20 years ago, we wouldn't be here where we were today. So there's reasons why things are the way they are. And I just really want people to realize what has gone into it. And I don't know if all of the city council understands that. So I'm hoping that you can bring that to the new city council.
Yes, we will continue to provide educational resources, and I'm more than willing to have a conversation with any city councilors about the project and the work that you all have done, and the work that we've been doing over the years, and the work that happened prior to any of us being on this committee or having this committee. And definitely willing to have conversations about that with anyone, or also explain the way urban renewal works, or, you know, what you brought up, the, should it be a whole, you know, the conversation that was being had around whether it should be entirely a park, and how that's not feasible because it's an urban renewal area, and we wouldn't be able to have it on the tax rolls in order to pay off the debt that we're using to create the park. So it would
Right. and
not
I-
be possible.
I'm not sure that they understand that, and I don't think they understand that the tax would fall on the Troutdale residents who already feel taxed out. And I think asking the Troutdale people to pay another 1,000, another 1,500, I think you're gonna get a revolt. People are not gonna be happy about that, right? And so just the knowledge and the teaching maybe would be a really good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think with parks, for a lot of people, I mean, parks are amazing. We all love parks and we want as many of them as possible. But when you start to boil it down to how much does it cost to own and maintain parks and create new parks, you learn a lot about the financial aspects of that. And so on paper, parks are wonderful, and it's just, can you actually afford to have that park? And we've determined through all the planning efforts that we can afford to do the Sandy Riverfront Trail, and we got grants for it, and we're, you know, using some of the debt capacity of the Urban Renewal Area to fund it. But it's not feasible for the entire property to be a park.
And we did, if I remember correctly, we talked about having open area for people to walk in and enjoy near the river, and as well as having buildings being built and businesses and homes, and, I mean, I thought we addressed all that.
Diane, one thing I would wanted to address if I was able to talk is that, the person was going at the aspect of, putting us on the map. The thing that, when we always discussed urban renewal, as far as I recall, is that we wanted something great for the citizenry and diverse, that we can all enjoy and have a sense of place as well. So, you know, so that's why it's such mixed use. Even the 2 hotels were bringing, like a convention, new people to purchase and to buy and keep, spend in our old town, and keep those things open for us, but also for families that come to visit, to have another opportunity to recreate or to stay a night with beautiful views and such. So I really appreciate the plan that we did come up with, because it is quite diverse. And like I said, I always thought that we as residents would enjoy it primarily, and then, but if we make it so special, then everybody else will enjoy it as well. Plus we get the tax base, and then it's multiple levels. So if you're thinking a type of a park, that's one level. So when we're adding some condos to purchase or whatever we do, it's multiple levels. So there's multiple resources of people and density to them to keep these other places open, so that we can also use them. So I'm not sure that they understood. That was only one aspect of putting it on the map, but that was by making it so special for us and have mixed use for everybody, all ages, to be able to use that site.
This is Tammy. I would just say, you know, the Riverfront Renewal Plan started in 2006. And every once in a while you get a counselor that might have been under a rock or just moved here or something and might not be up to speed, and they probably need to get up to speed, because this is something, you know, that plan started in 2006. The town center plan was 2019. This has been going on for a very long time. But with that said, we've been at the urban renewal. When was the urban renewal? 8?
Yeah, I have the original flyer, but it was a while ago.
And the fact that the urban renewal has been going on for a long time, there was a substantial period of time where that property really was not marketable. And so you can't say, okay, we've been working on this for 20 years. That's really not an accurate statement to say that we've been trying to get something down there for that amount of time. Because if we were, we all should have been removed, because we really weren't doing anything to get anything to happen down there until recently. That's when most of this has happened. And I'd also say, yes, I think somebody did run on that, but I don't know that that gets you elected or doesn't get you elected.
Sure.
I think at the end of the day, we'd be talking like 12.5 million that would be borne to the taxpayers if that came off the tax rolls. And that would be pretty substantial. The other thing I want to say is that area's been industrial for a long time. But also too, I don't want to forget about the aluminum plant. I know it's on a different site, but just because in 1941, that thing started up and it was huge. Everybody worked there. And it funded like everything around here for a very long time. So that's I'm just saying that was a big chunk of our history as well.
Yes.
Alrighty, well, I believe yes,
Can I make one more comment?
yeah,
On the council meeting, I was in attendance as well, and I was disappointed that we didn't get to speak. But you are correct, it is, if it's not an ordinance or resolution, they don't have to take public comment. But I will say the current mayor, in my personal opinion, has been excellent about taking public comment on all sorts of things most of the time. And I can't say I totally agree that that's always been the case, because we've had some past mayors, even maybe just a couple back, that really didn't take a lot of public comment, even when people were requesting to speak. So I think this could have been just an oversight more than anything, because I wouldn't say it's a practice not to take public comment on something like that.
Yeah. The conversation, I think, the whole presentation went a lot longer than I think was initially anticipated, and so I agree that I think it was probably an oversight and not an intentional thing.
Because I commend them that they do it as often as they do.
fair point, good call. Alright, we got communications from staff, anything additional you'd like to add?
Back to you. Well, we had Windy Wonderland at the beginning of the month, which went really great. I saw some of you out there for it, and it's continued to be windy here all month long. Yeah, we're really playing on that,
And people actually liked it that were outside the city.
yeah,
Yeah, they thought that was the best compliment they could do for Troutdale. Because it made it special and not like a winter wonderland. It was windy.
yes. It's a windy wonderland
That
out there.
describes Troutdale really well.
Yes. Yes, we even have ornaments that say walking in a windy wonderland in Troutdale, Oregon, if you want one. But no, it went very well, and I believe that there is a merry movie night this weekend, and kids, there's a couple of recreation programming things to tie up the holidays. And then we'll be off in the new year. This is the last public meeting of 2024, so the last one.
God.
You guys get the award for that.
What's the award?
It's me saying this is the last one,
Yeah.
and you helping me clean up at the end of this meeting. Let's see, what other things have we got going on? I just feel a lot of relief that Windy Wonderland's over and I cannot think about events for like a minute until First Friday starts up again.
I noticed that they're working nights next door.
Mhm.
Is that because they're behind schedule, or is that because they're gonna be a time when they can't do anything? Because we are in Troutdale.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you just notice it today when you came to the meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how late they're working.
But it seems like, this is the first time I've known, I don't get down here at night usually, but it was like, like
Yeah,
daylight.
it's lit up out
Yes.
there right now, yes. I'm not sure,
I'm not sure either.
but they seem to be moving
Few nights.
more quickly than
Yeah.
other projects in town, so.
When you say quite a few nights, more than
Yeah,
not, yeah.
almost every time I come for a meeting.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
because February, January, February is the worst time to be out. I'm feeling sorry for those guys, sorry, but they're standing out there and the wind's blowing. I wonder if Home Forward, the people that got this product, should come out and help these people work, because then they realize how cold it is out there.
Yeah, it's very cold out there. I think that, I'm not sure their exact timeline, but I would assume they're just trying to get it done as soon as possible.
Yes, the end of 2025, so the end of next year, full completion.
Marty, could you please speak to if you know anything about the East Metro Region Housing Conference that's on January 17th at Mount Hood Community College? Do you know anything about that?
No.
It says that they were getting regional leaders from Troutdale, Wood Village, Fairview, and Gresham. It's at Mount Hood Community College. It's put on by Metro on January 17th.
This is the port.
It's a morning and it has four sessions, and they want as many people from all those cities as possible. They have an open invite going on. I saw it on somebody else's Facebook and I have not heard about this, so I just didn't know if how we were also part of that discussion.
What's it titled?
East Metro Region Housing Conference. This is the first of its kind, and they hope to have two more coming up, I believe, next year. It's from 8:30 to 1 o'clock. There's different conference schedule. There's free continental breakfast. You have to just sign up for it, and then will break up into their different sessions.
I don't have
Okay,
any
Jill, just a heads up,
information.
because it says Troutdale's involved in it as well. I just didn't.
And we could be,
It's
I
a-
just don't know about
It's
it.
a diverse discussion about different housing, urban renewal, urban areas, expansions and such. And I just I go, okay, do I get a part of this, or are you gonna be doing that and you'll let us know what's going on? If they're starting this regional thing, I'm just hoping that we're part of that conversation.
This is Tanny, I would be amazed that Ms. Palmer would not be included in that discussion.
That's on Friday.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything, so.
Well, it's only a few weeks away. I mean, is TriMet putting this thing on or what?
I'm definitely gonna reach out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who specifically in Mount Hood Community College is putting it on. They've got a number of different groups within
It says it's Metro doing it.
TriMet.
yeah. Usually, so we've done like the
And I'll reach
small
out.
business
Yeah,
development
we-
center stuff, but yeah, I don't think either of us have any.
I'll reach out to Ray on maybe.
It's possible it came across his desk and not ours. Thank you for bringing it to our attention,
welcome.
committee member Castile Waite.
Well, it's like, who's representing Troutdale? You're gonna talk about housing and all this stuff and include all the other cities, so
Yeah,
just curious.
I'd be curious if Home Forward and is included
I
in it
think
as
we
well.
got left out of it. Mentioned our name but didn't invite us.
Let's see. Awesome, anything else from you guys?
Have a happy holiday season.
Yes, that.
Fantastic. All right, we'll do board member comments. Start with Cheryl.
Thank you for all your hard work, I appreciate it, especially this year, I mean, we've been through a lot together. And I appreciate all you guys, you welcomed me in and let me say what I need to say, and I've gotten a lot of information that I didn't have before, so thank you all, and congratulations. And happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
I would just like to thank staff for all their work. And great job. And I'd like to thank everyone on the committee for all the work that they put in and the dedication to the city, and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
And again, thank you for all your work, and you listen and you put up with us, and it's been great. It's been great to have conversations and clarity. I love working with everybody and really gonna miss.
We'll come visit you.
I'm
On the city council, we'll come visit you.
I love being on the committee, so it'll be something I'll pop in and listen in every now and then, but it's been great working with you all. So have a great Christmas and enjoy family and friend time, and Happy New Year.
We'll come talk to you.
Anytime you offer public comment, okay. Yeah, congratulations, excited for you and for the city. I'm glad we got some good folks joining council, yourself included, obviously. And I want to thank all of you guys for your vote of confidence. Like I said, I really appreciate it. I don't take it lightly, knowing kind of what we're going into with the RFQ and everything that we've done and will continue to do. So I really appreciate that, and we'll continue to try and make you guys proud. And you know, I was just driving back from work, and I saw the Portland sign, you know, the deer with the little Rudolph nose. And it just kind of made me think it'd be cool, again, given the industrial aspect of everything down there, eventually at the riverfront, if we had a little, like, especially if we partner with, like, the Neon Museum or something, but like a little fish, like a little...
With the red nose.
On the water tower,
Yeah,
the fish.
On the water tower, there you go.
Exactly,
Yeah.
something unique that's like, there's coming into Troutdale, you know?
And then the fish gets a little red nose.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Where is the
wouldn't
fish?
But yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody, appreciate it, and let's move on to Diane.
Okay, again, thank you, Marley and Erica, and congratulations, Carol and John Leamy. I'm gonna miss both of you, and Zach, congratulations, and Danny. And just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and everybody, I hope you have some fun things planned this coming up week, and enjoy the holidays. Thanks.
I'm almost just a dinner. Thank you, guys. Congratulations to the chair and vice chair. And Carol, we'll be seeing you. And Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
And then as far as the next meeting goes, you'll just let us know when we're meeting again, is that pretty, okay?
Probably next month. Mhm.
Oh, everyone leaned in.
You had one down for January 16th.
That's what we have tentatively.
That's
yeah.
what we have tentatively.
Okay,
We may or may not meet.
okay,
Mhm.
alright, we'll just.
There was a
keep
couple of
lookout.
other committee meetings that I think we're trying to figure out if they needed the space
Mhm.
and
Okay, just keep us posted, I guess, as usual, we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. Cool, well, with that, I'll take a movement to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second. Vicky?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, we are adjourned, thank you guys.
Congratulations.